Why do women always say they want a good guy, but then consistently fall for the unpredictable rebel? It's a contradiction that drives many men crazy and few truly understand. What if I told you the answer has been hidden in plain sight for centuries, a secret that Machiavelli himself might have appreciated? Stick around and discover the hidden mechanics of female attraction, the subtle psychological currents that determine why she craves unpredictability while claiming to seek stability, and how mastering this understanding reshapes your presence, your interactions, and ultimately your value in ways most men never perceive. By the end of this video, you will see women, yourself, and attraction itself through a lens so precise it will feel like a revelation, not a theory. You begin to watch her carefully, attuned to nuances others ignore. The slight hesitation before she speaks, the subtle shifting of her gaze, the micro-expressions that betray a curiosity she would never admit aloud. You see the average man moving predictably through life, eager, pliable, always giving, always available, always anticipating approval. He seeks to please. He seeks to be seen as good. He confuses kindness with power. She notices, and without conscious thought, she disengages. Her mind craves not the obvious, the easily readable, the predictable. It hungers for tension, for controlled contradiction, for a presence that is at once steady and unknowable. You, on the other hand, exist in measured rhythms. Your actions are deliberate. Your silences are weighted with significance. Your attention is not a commodity to be granted freely, but a tool to reflect your inner gravity. You do not collapse under expectation. You hold your center, allowing her subconscious to perceive your value repeatedly, like a signal in the noise. She cannot articulate why she feels pulled toward you, but she feels it viscerally. And this is the difference between ordinary and unforgettable, between the man who is noticed and the man who commands attention. You notice how subtle unpredictability works. It is not chaos, it is intentional modulation of presence and withdrawal. She responds not to absence alone, but to the controlled, deliberate ebb and flow of your engagement. Every pause, every measured glance, every quiet resistance to immediate gratification triggers dopamine in ways she does not understand consciously, but feels intensely. Her curiosity awakens, her attention sharpens, and her respect begins to form not as a conscious judgment, but as an instinctive acknowledgement of your composed power. The average man tries to charm, to convince, to earn interest. You do not need to do this. Your mastery is in restraint. The most potent influence is invisible influence. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Power is rarely declared. It is perceived, absorbed, and internalized without articulation. You are learning to create that influence naturally. Each interaction becomes a lesson in subtle authority, each withdrawal a demonstration of self-possession, each micro-expression an unspoken command of attention. You feel it already, the micro-realizations that reward careful observation, the lingering glance she cannot explain, the slight tension in her body when your opinion diverges from her expectation, the way she measures distance instinctively, evaluating not your words, but the weight of your presence. This is where mastery begins, not in pursuit, not in verbal persuasion, not in proving worth, but in being a force she cannot predict, yet cannot ignore. The brain craves novelty within safety, tension within trust, and challenge within respect. Your unpredictability, when paired with calm composure, creates a paradoxical environment where her mind oscillates between intrigue and reassurance. She does not notice the mechanics consciously, yet her attention is held, her dopamine subtly stimulated, her respect growing quietly, inexorably. You are orchestrating attraction without manipulation, merely through controlled presence, subtle contrasts, and the disciplined mastery of self. Even now, you sense the frustration that ordinary men feel. the confusion when women's stated desires seem to contradict their behavior. This confusion is unnecessary when you understand the truth. Attraction is not transactional, it is reflective. Her attention, her desire, her respect, these are mirrors of your presence, your composure, your internal authority. The good guy gives comfort. You give depth. The predictable man offers nothing more than approval. You offer a living, breathing tension that draws her in quietly but irresistibly. Picture the next encounter. She watches, slightly hesitant, evaluating without words, measuring the weight of your response. Will you bend, chase, or collapse under expectation? Or will you hold your ground, allow the natural rhythm of engagement to dictate the flow, and silently reveal the truth of your mastery? She does not articulate this, yet she senses it immediately. She recognizes the difference between the man who is defined by expectation and the man who defines the encounter through presence. Here is the first reward for your attention. Every detail matters. Every pause, every glance, every slight shift in tone or timing, every measured response is a vector of influence. She is drawn not to your approval, but to the composure that defies her anticipation, to the quiet gravity that challenges without confrontation. You begin to see that the mechanics of attraction are subtle, psychological, and profoundly rooted in human perception. And it is in this subtlety, this deliberate orchestration of presence and unpredictability, that respect, curiosity, and desire converge quietly, persistently, irresistibly. By the end of this journey, you will not merely understand why women are drawn to the unpredictable rebel. You will understand how to embody it consciously, responsibly, and powerfully, transforming every interaction into a reflection of your inner mastery, every encounter into an exercise in subtle influence, every glance into a vector of attention. This is not a game. It is not a strategy to manipulate her whims. It is a philosophy of self-mastery, of presence, of quiet authority that resonates far beyond a single interaction. Now you are ready to observe, to internalize, and to wield presence as a force that compels attention, ignites curiosity, and commands respect, without a word, without effort, without seeking approval. Stick with me, because in the next segment, you will discover the deeper psychological mechanisms and timeless strategies, the Stoic, Machiavellian, and modern behavioral insights that explain exactly why she craves the unpredictable rebel and how you can embody it effortlessly. Now that you see the surface of attraction, the subtle interplay of attention, withdrawal, and presence, it is time to peer beneath, to explore the currents that shape perception long before words are spoken. You must understand that what she experiences is not randomness nor mere instinct. It is the result of evolutionary precision, social conditioning, and a subconscious calculus that evaluates your worth not in gestures, but in how you occupy space, time, and attention. Every nuance of your comportment, every controlled divergence from expectation becomes a signal, a vector that she interprets instinctively. She is unaware of the calculations, yet she feels them, as though your mere being resonates with her inner perception of value. You begin to notice the patterns, a fleeting withdrawal, a deliberate silence, a refusal to chase, creates a subtle tension, a gentle inversion of the predictable narrative she expects. It is in this tension that curiosity blooms. Women are naturally attuned to signals of strength cloaked in restraint, to power exercised without noise, to confidence that does not demand validation. You are no longer a man who reacts. You are a force whose movements are calibrated, whose tempo is measured, whose unpredictability is deliberate. She is drawn not to whimsy or chaos, but to the quiet mastery that frames every action with purpose and every silence with depth. Reflect on the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius reminds you that the external world cannot dictate your internal state. Only your perception does. you take this to heart. You understand that a woman's interest is neither a prize nor a reflection of your self-worth. It is a mirror, an echo of your composure, a feedback loop of attention responding to presence. When you move without need, when you react without fear, when you embody a center that is unshakable, her mind begins to register subtle signals of authority. She cannot articulate why she feels drawn. She only knows that something about your presence excites curiosity, commands respect, and triggers reflection. Machiavelli adds another layer. Influence is rarely obvious. Control is silent. The mind yields not to force, but to strategy that operates beneath conscious awareness. By alternating engagement with absence, intensity with calm, attention with measured detachment, you orchestrate a psychological rhythm that captivates without effort. Each encounter becomes a stage, each interaction a carefully composed scene, in which she experiences a dynamic tension between predictability and surprise, safety and challenge, familiarity and intrigue. You are the silent architect of her perception. She is captivated not because you chase, but because you define the encounter by your unspoken mastery. Consider modern behavioral psychology. Dopamine responds to unpredictability in measured doses. Reward systems are activated when outcomes are uncertain but not threatening. The man who bends to expectation triggers nothing. The man who surprises with composure, with restraint, with deliberate shifts in attention, activates loops of curiosity and desire. Every time you remain calm while she tests, every time you withhold immediate reaction, you plant a seed in her subconscious that she cannot ignore. She finds herself returning to thoughts of you, replaying interactions internally, measuring not the words, but the subtle signals of dominance, restraint, and presence. You notice the temporal dimension of attraction. Time is your ally. Patience becomes a strategic tool. She will reflect, she will reevaluate, she will measure consistency over days, perhaps weeks. Ordinary men misinterpret this delay as disinterest. You recognize it as opportunity. The mind integrates your presence over time, each encounter reinforcing the internalization of your value. She begins to see you not as a fleeting moment, but as a constant, a gravitational point in her perception that persists regardless of circumstance, regardless of her own attempts to understand it consciously. Emotional contrasts deepen this effect. When you exhibit calm composure after her withdrawal, when you respond with quiet clarity instead of panic, when you remain unshaken in moments that would unravel the ordinary man, you create a mirror of stability and power. She senses the internal mastery, the deliberate control, the awareness of self that transcends circumstance. And in that mirror, she measures herself. Her curiosity ignites. Her respect grows. She may not articulate it, but her attention is caught, and her subconscious fascination is secured. You also learn the value of subtle storytelling through behavior. Each action, each pause, each gaze becomes symbolic, a reflection of self-mastery, an unspoken narrative of composure and authority. She interprets these signals without realizing the mechanism. It is both art and science, a fusion of ancient wisdom and modern understanding. Your unpredictability is not recklessness. It is a rhythm that combines certainty with novelty, safety with intrigue, consistency with controlled variance. She experiences this internally as excitement, curiosity, and attraction, all elicited by the deliberate orchestration of your presence. Microclimaxes occur continually, hidden within interactions that seem mundane. She hesitates before speaking. She studies your reaction. She notes your absence. She lingers when you step back. These are not coincidences. They are moments in which your authority, subtle yet undeniable, is recognized. They are the punctuation of your presence, the markers of mastery. You begin to see patterns, anticipate responses, and guide perception without effort, simply by embodying a calibrated, composed, unpredictable rhythm. Consider the long-term consequences. A woman who experiences this dynamic repeatedly will reevaluate expectations unconsciously. Ordinary men become background noise. You become the standard. She will not merely desire attention, she will desire the tension, the unpredictability, the composed gravity you bring. Over time, this becomes a reflection of your identity. A man defined not by external validation, but by the silent, consistent mastery of self, which in turn shapes perception, guides desire, and secures respect. This is the deeper revelation. Attraction is a temporal, psychological, and philosophical construct. It is not a product of charm or circumstance, but of presence, of measured unpredictability, of disciplined mastery of self and environment. You are both participant and architect, observer and force, shaping attention through awareness, guiding curiosity through silence, and commanding respect through composure. Each encounter, each pause, each subtle deviation from expectation becomes a vector of influence that is absorbed, processed, and reflected in ways she cannot articulate, but which determine the trajectory of desire and respect. By the end of this segment, you begin to recognize the invisible architecture of attraction, the controlled tension between predictability and unpredictability, the oscillation of engagement and restraint, the deliberate cultivation of internal authority. You are no longer merely reacting to circumstance, you are orchestrating experience. She senses it, responds to it, and her perception is shaped quietly, profoundly, and irrevocably. In the next segment, you will discover the ultimate revelation, how to synthesize these principles into a behavioral and philosophical framework so powerful that your interactions with women become a reflection of your inner mastery. Your unpredictability becomes deliberate and magnetic, and your presence transforms every encounter into a demonstration of authority, respect, and irresistible attraction. By now, you have seen the mechanisms at play, the subtle tension between expectation and presence, the way deliberate unpredictability intersects with calm authority to capture attention and command respect. Yet understanding alone is not enough. You must internalize it, embody it, and recognize that attraction is a reflection of the self, a mirror of your composure, your depth, and your mastery over impulse. The man who simply reacts, who seeks to please, who bends to circumstance, may be momentarily noticed, but he is never remembered. You are remembered because you exist in your own rhythm, independent, deliberate, and quietly magnetic. Women are drawn not to chaos, not to overt dominance, but to self-mastery expressed as controlled unpredictability. She measures you in micro-moments, observing your reactions, testing boundaries, assessing consistency beneath the fluctuation. Each pause you take, each subtle deviation from expectation, communicates far more than words ever could. She experiences your authority as an undercurrent, a gravitational pull she cannot resist, even when she consciously resists it. This is where the rebel, the unpredictable man, transcends the ordinary good guy. The ordinary man is read instantly. The unpredictable man is felt, intuited, revered. You begin to see how temporal patterns amplify this effect. Repetition of composure over days, weeks, months builds a mental map in her subconscious, a pattern she cannot articulate, yet one she cannot forget. She reflects on past encounters, comparing them to present behavior, noting the consistency of your calm, the unpredictability of your engagement, the balance between presence and absence. Each reflection strengthens her subconscious recognition of your authority. Ordinary men provide immediate satisfaction. You cultivate enduring impact. The depth of your presence lingers long after the encounter, shaping desire, respect, and fascination. There is also an ethical dimension to this mastery. You are not manipulating, you are embodying truth. You are not provoking for the sake of chaos. You are living deliberately, letting the world respond to the integrity of your presence. Women respond to authenticity expressed through controlled unpredictability, the intersection of freedom, self-possession, and intentional action. She senses it intuitively. The rebel she cannot predict is not reckless, but deliberate, disciplined, and alive with quiet power. She is drawn to you because you reflect the possibility of mastery, the embodiment of the self-directed life she cannot ignore. Here lies the synthesis. Attraction is not a pursuit, it is a reflection. Respect is not demanded, it is felt. Curiosity is not manufactured, it is activated by presence. When you combine self-mastery, deliberate unpredictability, and temporal consistency, you create an archetype that resonates on both conscious and subconscious levels. She experiences tension and reassurance simultaneously, fascination and comfort simultaneously, desire and respect simultaneously. This is the invisible architecture of influence, the truth behind why women are drawn to men who do not collapse under expectation, who move with deliberate rhythm, and who inhabit their own center. Now, return to the opening truth. Why do women always say they want a good guy, but then consistently fall for the unpredictable rebel? You see it with clarity. The rebel is not admired for rebellion alone, nor the good guy shunned for decency. The rebel captivates because he embodies the disciplined mastery of self, expressed as deliberate unpredictability, a tension she feels but cannot name. She craves depth, curiosity, and the gravity of presence, all of which reside within you when you live according to your own principles, rather than the expectation of others. Finally, you understand the power of reflection. Your interactions are no longer events to be survived or manipulated. They are opportunities to demonstrate integrity, composure, and presence. Every glance, every pause, every withdrawal becomes a vector of psychological resonance. The women you encounter are mirrors, reflecting the depth of your mastery back to you. Attraction, respect, fascination, they are not gifts to be earned. They are echoes of your own presence, reverberating in the world, shaping perception and leaving impressions that endure far beyond a single encounter. This is your takeaway. Embody authority, balance unpredictability with composure. Let your presence create tension and curiosity. Allow her mind to reflect your mastery. The rebel she cannot resist is not a chaotic force, but a deliberate, disciplined, and timeless expression of masculine power. You are not changing her. You are revealing yourself in full, unshakable clarity. And in doing so, you command attention, curiosity, and respect that endure, not because of who she is, but because of who you have chosen to become.